Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today we are talking about Amazon because if you didn't know, you don't own anything on Amazon Prime Video, streaming or otherwise. Amazon says I am correct, and here's what's going on. Now, before I dive into today's news, I want to talk about a video that I did a while back on Amazon Kindle because users of Amazon Kindle were finding that sometimes books that they had purchased were being removed from not just their Kindle, but also their account. And that was when a publisher would pull the book from Amazon, and then Amazon would go ahead and pull it from you. That's basically like a Random House walking into your own house, removing a book that you bought right off the shelf without your permission, without giving you your money back. And that's assuming you're okay with actually parting with the book that you bought. Now, they're into video, and here's what's going on. And I thought this was really interesting reporting coming actually from the Hollywood Reporter of all places. But here's what's going on. When you, an Amazon Video Prime user, buy content on their platform, what you're really paying for is a limited license for, and I quote, on-demand viewing over an indefinite period of time. They apparently warn that essentially the company's terms of use says this, and then basically here we are, because studies show that nobody reads the terms of use. Amazon's putting this in their terms of use, nobody reads it, and those that actually go and try to read it, almost no one, with the possible exception of the lawyers who wrote the damn thing, are actually reading it in its entirety. So they are burying that little snippet that essentially it's in a limited life, basically you're leasing it for an indefinite period of time. That's buried into their terms of service. Most people don't know that. But that is Amazon's argument for why a lawsuit over a hypothetical future deletion of content should be dismissed. And that's what we're talking about today. And so here's what's going on. In April, Amanda Caudell sued Amazon for unfair competition and false advertising. She claims that the company, and I quote, secretly reserves the right, end quote, to end consumers' access to content purchased through its Prime Video service. She filed her putative class action on behalf of herself and any California residents who purchased video content from the service from April 25th of 2016 to the present, and at that time, April of 2020. Now, this past Monday, literally about 5 days ago, Amazon filed a motion to dismiss her complaint, arguing that she lacks standing to sue because she hasn't actually been injured. They haven't removed anything from her yet, and they've also noted in their filing here that she has purchased 13 titles on Prime since she filed her complaint. Meaning, if she was really worried about this, why did she go ahead and buy another 13 titles off of Amazon? That's kind of contradictory. Now, according to the attorney for Amazon, and I quote, plaintiff claims that defendants Amazon Prime's video service, which allows consumers to purchase video content for streaming or download, misleads consumers because sometimes that video content might later become unavailable if a third-party rights holder revokes or modifies Amazon's license. The complaint points vaguely to online commentary about this alleged potential harm, but does not identify any Prime Video purchase unavailable to the plaintiff herself. In fact, all of the Prime Video content that plaintiff has ever purchased remains available. Now, again, I did a video on this in the exact same thing. The third party, the book publishers on Kindle removed books, and we have confirmation of that, although I have not seen anything on Amazon Prime, and apparently Miss Caudell has not lost anything according to Amazon. So this, again, is for future damage. Now, Amazon also argues, to continue, that the site's required user agreements explain that some content may later become unavailable. And to quote their lawyer again, the most relevant agreement here, the Prime Video terms of use, is presented to consumers every time they buy digital content on Amazon Video. These terms of use expressly state that purchasers obtain only a limited license to view video content, and that purchased content may become unavailable due to provider license restrictions or other reasons. Now, Amazon is arguing that it doesn't matter whether Caudell actually bothered to read the fine print or not, because as you go to purchase, you might have a little thing that says read the terms of use, and everyone's like, yeah, I just want to watch the movie I just bought or the TV show or whatever it is. We don't read these things. I am the first to admit that I am also guilty of this, although when I am looking up things like apps to make sure that they are safe and secure, I do read terms of services and privacy policies and all of that. But Amazon being an American company, you just start buying things, I mean, and that's I think where they kind of get you. But according to Amazon, it really doesn't matter if you didn't read the fine print. To quote Amazon once again, an individual does not need to read an agreement in order to be bound by it. That is legally true. A merchant term of service agreement in an online consumer transaction is valid and enforceable when the consumer has reasonable notice of terms of service. Meaning, Amazon basically said, hey, we have terms of service. You should go check out our 800 billion page document, or however long it is. I do not know how long it is, but these things are usually crazy, crazy long. And so because they've notified you that you can go read this, you're bound by it, which makes sense in the same way that you sign up for Facebook and basically sign their end user license agreement, which they took a lot of flack for being something like 75,000 words long, which they then shortened to 3,500 words, and nobody's still reading the 3,500 words out of this. But I think this is really an interesting point. Now that you're informed that anything you purchase, so you spend $10 on a movie, only to know or only to understand that you could either watch it for the next 20 years, or if the publisher of that movie decides they don't want to work with Amazon anymore, they might revoke that the day after you buy it. And I think that's something that's really interesting. That said, I think there might be also some kind of, let's say, time window where they notify you to say, hey, this publisher is pulling as of this date. You may lose this, or maybe there's some kind of retroactive payment. Well, it depreciates over 5 years. So let's say you paid $10 for it at $2 a year. If it leaves in year 4, maybe you get $2 back. Something along those lines might be something that Amazon could balance that, but Amazon being the money printing machine that they are, given what they do, I don't see that happening anytime soon. And so there you go. You've been informed. If you're cool with that and you understand, hey, I could have a book or a movie or music or anything removed from me at any given time, but I enjoy the convenience of having it on Amazon, then knock yourself out. That said, if you're like me, and if you notice I've got a whole bunch of movies and everything behind me, I tend to like to hold on to things that I'm really interested in, and so I like to get physical copies, or at least download copies that cannot be removed from me if I choose to purchase. So everybody's got their own thing, but you can't say now you haven't been told. And I would be curious to know if you will continue to use Amazon for their convenience, understanding that what you just bought, you don't actually own. You're kind of renting it for as long as Amazon has it on their platform, and maybe that's cool. But then they also have a less expensive rental option. And does that kind of negate it? Because technically you might have a longer term rental on your hands, even though you're not renting it for the 3 days or the week or however long Amazon lets you rent it for. So I find that really interesting. That is your news of the week. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And here we are. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well, where my content is free and probably will never go away until I'm hit by a bus. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, guys.